What's up, guys? It's Ben from Election Predictions 2020, and this is part two of my Mitt Romney versus Donald Trump video. So, as you can see, this is the map um, between how Mitt Romney did in 2012 and how Donald Trump did in 2016. All the states in red are the states that Donald Trump outperformed Mitt Romney in, and all the states in blue are the states where Donald Trump underperformed Mitt Romney. And as you can see, the sum of the states where Donald Trump did better is 346, and the sum of the states where Donald Trump did worse than Mitt Romney is 192. And I'm just going to read off some of those states that I think will have the biggest impact going forward. So, and kind of the biggest swings. So Trump did 17 points better in West Virginia. And I think this is a large transformation from where West Virginia used to be. West Virginia was a swing state back in Bush v. Gore. Bush just barely won it, and it helped him win that election in 2000. But this is a state with a large rural population that has shifted to the right very significantly. I mean, Trump won the state by more than 40 points. It still has a Democratic senator in Joe Manchin, but he's a very conservative Democrat too. So I think it's really interesting to see like kind of the rural voter definitely swung towards Trump in huge margins, and that's the same with a state like North Dakota, which swung 19 points for Donald Trump. Even though these are pretty low population states, I mean, it just kind of shows this drastic transformation. And next up, we got a lot of media attention were kind of these the Rust Belt states. So Ohio swung 12 points for Donald Trump, and Ohio is typically viewed as this bellwether type of state. But I mean, in 2016, it went like, I think it went a total of like 10 points for Donald Trump. And it is a 12-point transformation from when Obama won it by 2 points in 2012. So, I mean, this is a huge, huge margins, a 12 percentage point swing. I mean, that's incredible. And Iowa was even larger. It was a 16-point percentage swing from the 2012 election to the 2016 election. So Donald Trump vastly outperformed Mitt Romney, or you could say Hillary Clinton vastly underperformed Barack Obama. And just looking at some other states, Michigan was a 10-point swing. This was one of the key states that Donald Trump took in 2016. Maine, even though it still went from Hillary Clinton, was a 13-point swing for Donald Trump. And so those are kind of the states that I want to focus on for the states that Donald Trump outperformed him. He kind of, people say that he hacked the electoral college, and I think the key states that mattered were Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, and even Florida. But I mean, the margins in Iowa and Ohio were kind of a representation of kind of this resurgence and the white working class and kind of their impact, their switch from Obama to Trump. But what I really want to focus on are some of these states that actually Donald Trump underperformed in. And the two main ones, or I mean, just to look at briefly, the largest swing from the 2012 to 2016 election was a 24-point swing for Hillary Clinton in the state of Utah, even though Donald Trump won the state by a large amount. I mean, I know now Mitt Romney is the U.S. Senator from Utah. Mitt Romney was very popular in the state of Utah in the 2012 election. And one reason that Trump didn't do so well in Utah is there was a third-party candidate, McMillan, was a conservative independent that ran kind of on this conservative idea that, oh, Donald Trump is like, shouldn't be the moral leader of the Republican Party. So I thought that was interesting. But I think what will matter the most in the 2016 election is how much further blue Texas and Arizona are. So in the compared to the 2012 election, in the 2016 election, Texas went 6 points more Democratic. So I think Trump won Texas by about 9 points. But what this data is telling us is that Mitt Romney won the state by 15 points. So Donald Trump vastly underperformed Mitt Romney, and this trend is likely to continue. I mean, we saw in the 2018 midterms in Texas that, I mean, Ted Cruz only won by 1.5 points. And, I mean, Democrats have been focused on Texas. They're going to spend a lot of money in Texas, and they've already registered about 2 million new voters. And not that all those voters are going to turn out or that all of them will vote for Joe Biden in 2020, but Texas is a state I definitely want to look at, because if this trend continues, probably by 2024, it's going to be a very competitive swing state. And next up is the state of Arizona. So Arizona went 5 points for the Democrats. So Donald Trump underperformed Mitt Romney by 5 points in the state of Arizona. And Arizona is the state that I've mentioned in previous videos. I think it's going to be the closest state in 2020. Donald Trump won the state by 3 points. Martha McSally got clobbered in the 28 midterms on the Senate level. And so if this trend continues, if the Democrats gain another 5 points in Arizona, then Donald Trump will lose the state by 2 points. I really don't know what's going to happen, but I'll be very interested to look at how Arizona turns out. And next up is the state of Georgia. Georgia is another one of those states where the demographics are changing, and it could be a swing state pretty soon. I don't think it will be a swing state as fast as Arizona and Texas, but it is just one of those other states where the state is becoming less white, and it's becoming more diverse, and the margins that Republicans previously had enjoyed are becoming smaller and smaller. And so I definitely think going forward from the 2020 election, I still think the Republicans will likely keep Georgia and Texas, and they could keep Arizona. But I think definitely they should try to appeal more to new immigrants who are moving to this country that have become legalized, and they should try to appeal more to the voters of color, because I think that their message of kind of the free market and kind of this like Christian ideals can appeal to a lot of voters of color, but it hasn't done that so far. And so just going forward, these are the states that are going to matter. And I think people like to focus on, like the white working class, there is a resurgence. But I think the states of Arizona, Texas, and Georgia are going to matter a lot more going forward. So now just to conclude, I want to go back to my slides. I just have like 1 or 2 more slides. So sorry, this is a little pixelated. I pulled this off Google Images, but I thought it was really interesting. So 13% of Trump voters in 2016 were actually Obama voters in 2012. And I think this is a fact that a lot of people in the media ignore. A lot of people in the mainstream media kind of classify voters as like racist, sexist, and like all this stuff. And I am not going to comment on like whether I think Trump is racist, because I think there's arguments for and against, and I don't want to like kind of take sides. I just kind of want to commentate on this in an unbiased manner as best as I can. But I mean, there were a lot of people who voted for Barack Obama twice and still voted for Trump. And I'm not going to say that like voting for Obama makes you not racist just like instantaneously. But I mean, you would kind of think that like, I mean, someone who was like a white supremacist probably wouldn't vote for Obama. So I think that this transformation, 13% of Obama voters went for Romney. And because it was more than the Romney voters that turned to Clinton, it was only 4%. That is what turned out the election. And lastly, I'm going to move my camera over here to the other side. Trump got more of the people who didn't vote in the 2012 election. 20% of Trump voters didn't vote in the in the 2012 election and 19% of Hillary Clinton voters. And many people think that Democrats tend to have an advantage on the people who didn't vote in the previous election just because they're registering more voters who turn 18. People tend to think younger people are more Democratic, which is true. And same with the fact that a lot of new immigrants tend to be more Democratic than Republican. But I think what this is a representation of is the fact that a lot of the Trump voters who didn't vote in 2012 were just completely disengaged from politics and frankly didn't really care about politics until they found Trump. These are kind of the notable states that I thought were worth mentioning in my presentation. So you can take a screenshot if you're interested in those. Okay, so that concludes my video. Please comment on what you thought of this video, what you liked about the format, and suggestions for future videos. And next week's video will be a hypothetical matchup between Ted Cruz and Hillary Clinton. So please tune into that. And thanks for watching, and subscribe right here if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, guys.